Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be giving you 10 jungle tips that will instantly make you a better jungler. Now keep in mind, my tips are only scratching the surface of how to jungle, but it should still help you improve your play and ultimately help you climb the ladders. Thank you guys for tuning into my video, and let's jump right into it. Tip number 1. Utilizing your F keys. A lot of people aren't even aware of the F keys' existence in League of Legends, but the F keys are extremely important to utilize for the jungle role. The keys at the top of your keyboard, F1, F2, F3, F4, and F5, allow you to very quickly and seamlessly center your camera on your teammate's position, which can tell you a lot about what is going on with their lane. While clearing your jungle, you should not only be watching the camps you're clearing, but you should also be planning out your next move, and planning out your next move relies on what's happening with your laners. So next time you're clearing your jungle, try quickly pressing all of your F keys to gain information on the map and make a more informed decision for your next gank, counter gank, or invade. Tip number 2. Player attack move click. If you go to your hotkeys, scroll down to additional hotkeys, click on player movement, and then find player attack move click. You can set that keybind to whatever your heart desires, but my recommendation would be to set the keybind to A. What this keybind allows you to do is press A on your keyboard, and it will automatically move to or attack the nearest target to your cursor. This is very helpful when clearing the jungle, as it allows you to not have to right-click the monsters you want to kill, eliminating potential misclicks, and it allows you to kite camps much easier. For example, while attacking blue buff, notice how I'm kiting the camp in between autos in order to reduce the amount of damage I take while killing it, and I use the player attack move click keybind in order to do it properly. If you're playing champions like Graves or Kindred, the player attack move click keybind also comes in handy when kiting during skirmishes and teamfights, as it automatically attacks for maximum range, which means you'll keep your distance while doing damage. Tip number 3. Understanding priority. Probably one of the most common phrases you'll hear from high elo junglers is this word priority. But what does it mean? Priority is the concept junglers will talk about when they're going for a play in neutral or enemy territory. And with the huge changes to Scuttle Crab in a recent jungle patch, the concept of priority has become even more prevalent. For example, when contesting Scuttle Crab, it's important that you are paying attention to which laners have priority so that you know when is a good time to contest and when is a good time to give up the Scuttle Crab to the enemy jungler. So how exactly do you know which laners have priority? For the most part, priority is gained by having an easier roam to the camp or objective in contention. If a player is pushing their lane to the enemy tower, then they have roam priority to the neighboring jungle camps and objectives. Another factor that you must consider when thinking about priority is simply what champions are on both teams. If you have a Talon, that champion has innate roaming priority due to the fact that they can quickly roam to your location. On the contrary, an Anivia wave clearing under tower might struggle a bit to make it to your location before the opposing laner. So in conclusion, when you're jungling and you are deciding whether or not to make a play in neutral territory or to go for an invade, think about whether or not your laners have priority. Tip number 4. Don't forget to ping. Riot Games has made communicating with your team very simple with pings. To not utilize this fully is a waste of a very useful resource as a jungler. If you know something that your laners don't, such as the location of the enemy jungler, you can quickly tell them that with a simple danger ping. If you are on your way to gank a lane, make sure you notify your team in advance with multiple on your way pings. A lot of the time your laners are going to be tunnel visioning on what's going on in their lane, as opposed to what you are doing, and by putting a ping right in front of their face, they'll be informed of your intentions, and it will reduce the chance of them not following up on your gank or playmaking opportunity. You can also help your laners with MIA pings. You are the jungler, which means you are going to be watching the entire map. So don't be afraid to MIA ping if you notice that your laner hasn't. It could make a huge difference. Tip number 5. Saving your gap close. When going for a gank, it can be very tempting to blow all of your abilities right away in order to try and snag a kill. However, try to avoid these temptations as they don't optimize your rate of success on a gank. For example, if you are ganking an overextended top lane, instead of running right at them and using your gap close, try pathing to where you expect them to begin running away toward, use your damaging spells, and when they blow flash or they use their source of mobility to get away, that's when you close the gap with whatever abilities you have and try and finish the kill. By implementing this simple tip, you will increase your gank success instantly in your games. Tip number 6, the importance of matchups. Now this is more of an advanced tip due to the fact that it will take hundreds of games of jungle experience in order to really be an applicable tip. However, the sooner you begin thinking about this, the sooner you'll be able to improve. Matchups as a jungler extends way beyond the matchup you are in personally. Matchups as a jungler include the laners. By understanding the matchups of the other lanes, it will help you make an educated decision of what lanes you should be prioritizing at various points in the game. The easiest way to explain this is to give you an example. Let's say you have a Fizz mid lane on your team, and the enemy team has an Orianna. Pre-level 6, this matchup might be difficult for Fizz to win, meaning there's a good chance Fizz will be huddled under his tower in order to avoid dying. However, once Fizz hits level 6, he gains a huge burst of power over this lane, and with your jungle presence he can easily pick up a free kill and turn the lane around with a well-timed gank as he scales his ultimate. Now obviously, that's a lot of information to consider for one game, let alone one matchup if you're new to jungling, but this is the type of thinking that differentiates a high elo jungler from a low elo jungler. The last thing you want to do as a jungler is waste your time ganking lanes with no kill pressure if there are more productive things to gain on the map, even if that means full clearing your jungle. To summarize this tip, start paying attention to matchup in your games so you can begin learning how to utilize your jungle pressure to better impact laning phase. Tip number 7, efficient routing. One of the absolute worst mistakes you can make as a jungler is taking an inefficient route to clear your jungle. A jungle route becomes inefficient when extra time that's not needed is lost due to the order in which you decide to clear your jungle. There are a few starting jungle routes that you should learn as a jungler for various champions, but that's a lesson we'll save for another video. For this video, let me give you a quick example of efficient pathing versus inefficient pathing. The following clip is an example of inefficient pathing.
This feeling that I have right now, I can't ever let it go. I could lose it all trying to keep it, watch it all get deleted, but then again you never know. But man, it's so worth it, man, it's so worth it, man, it's so worth it just to feel it one time. And if I gotta risk everything just to feel it again, I don't care about it, man, that's fine. Yeah, I got seas to sail.
Notice how after I cleared my red buff, I sat around for about 15 seconds wasting time as I waited for the scuttle crab to spawn. A more efficient route would be to either level 2 gank, bot lane or mid lane, and then proceed to scuttle crab, or simply walk to the opposing side scuttle crab and clear that one instead. This puts me much closer to blue buff, which is the next camp in my clear path, and with those 15 seconds I spent waiting for scuttle to spawn, I instead moved to the other side of the map. Let me now show you an example of this efficient jungle route.
So worth it, man, it's so worth it, man, it's so worth it just to feel it one time. And if I gotta risk everything just to feel it again, I don't care about it, man, that's fine. No, I ain't worried at all, cause I know that I got it. I don't need me a deal, don't gotta sign on the dotted. I do not need to be rich to go and conquer the world. Don't need no recommendation letters, so keep your referrals. I got my people with me, all my people with me, and we gon' kill them all. Oh Lord, please forgive me, I've been ducking.
Tip number 8, optimizing your runes. Now this tip is pretty simple and I wasn't even sure if I would include it, but considering I've seen plenty of junglers taking suboptimal runes in lower elo, there are definitely some of you who need to hear it. You should never be guessing about what runes to take. You should never just be winging it. Your rune choice should be well thought out and optimized for the matchup. If you're unsure, then there are plenty of free websites and apps with information about what runes to take on which champions. It's simple but important. Tip number 9. Use information to your advantage. As a jungler, you will often say to yourself, what should I be doing right now? When this happens, you might find yourself going for low percentage ganks or even risky plays. While this is natural and can happen to anyone, you want to avoid this at all costs. The best way to avoid this is to constantly be monitoring the map and the minimap. If you see the enemy jungler step on a ward, you can instantly take note of that and use this to your advantage. For example, if you are in the topside river and you notice the enemy jungler going for a gank bottom, you know exactly where he is now, which eliminates the threat of a counter gank. Your first response should be to try and make a play top or mid. If neither lanes are gankable, your next course of action should be to counter jungle the enemy's topside jungle. Since he is occupied bottom lane, he will not be able to stop you from doing so. In this same scenario, if you're clearing bottom side camp, this would be a great time to instantly path to your bot lane to try and counter the enemy gank, leading to multiple kills, or at the very least forcing the enemies to back off. This information is going to be presenting itself every couple of seconds, and it's your job to be aware of it. Tip number 10. Ignore the chatter. The last tip of this video is probably the most important tip. As a jungler, you have most of the pressure from your teammates. If they lose their lane, there's a good chance they'll blame it on you. If the enemy jungler is camping them, you better believe you will get flamed. Even if you are jungling a perfect game, junglers are susceptible to negative chatter from your teammates. The pressure is all on you to try and help all of your laners, and also to secure objectives with Smite. Don't let this chatter get to you, and most importantly, don't listen to it. You'll need to decipher the difference between a genuine call for help and a disingenuous one, but at the end of the day, you need to be confident with your decision making and not let this team chatter impact your play negatively. Whether that's muting or being mentally tough, you gotta persevere. That wraps up today's video and my 10 tips for jungling in Season 8. If this video was helpful to you, please help me out and hit the like button. If you want to see more jungle content, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. But that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.
And I know you wanna spend your time in a better place. What you really want, I know you cry, I know you try.